I've been looking forward to this. I say something a bit different every week, but this is a little bit different. It's the Toyota GR Yaris. What can I tell you about GR Yaris that you probably don't already know? Because everybody in creation's had a drive except for us. Well, I can tell you that it is $49,000 and some change, list price. And on Toyota's website, I saw that it's about $53,360 or something like that on the road. The roof is a special kind of carbon fibre, and the bonnet, doors and tailgate are aluminium. And to prove how light that is, there's a couple of buttons under here. One to unlock and open it, the other one to lock all of the doors from the back. So you can put your groceries in here, you don't have to schlep around the front with the key in your pocket. Look at this, look. That's as light as a piece of buttered bread. And inside you can put the seats down 60-40, just like a regular family hatch. Because the difference is that this is a Yaris in name only. Yes, it is a Yaris 3-door hatch, whereas the normal one's a 4-door hatch or the Yaris Cross SUV. But this one is completely different. The mudguards, they're wider. The rear end is from a Corolla. The front end is from a Yaris. There's two different platforms glued together. You can also pay an extra $5,000 for the rally model, and that gets you some extra suspension, different tuning, which makes a hard car even harder. Not sure I'd want to do a trip in that. I'm not even sure I'd want to do a rally trip on that. While we're on the subject of rallies, the Bates team is preparing one of these cars as we speak. So they'll rip out the bits of the car they don't want. They'll take out the interior. They'll take out the rear seat. They'll take out the dashboard and bits they don't want, leaving just the bits for racing. But here's the rub. Because this car is so light already, between 1280 and 1320 kilos, and that depends which model you get. The fuel tank is 50 litres, and the rear cargo space is 141 litres. Once they take all that stuff out, it's lighter than what the racing community will allow. It's got to be 1200 kilos, so they've actually got to put weight into it, but they can put the ballast wherever they want it, and that's the good thing. The engine has 200 kilowatts and 370 newton meters, giving it a great power to weight ratio. That matters when you're on a track or in a rally, but it also matters when you're on the road. And inside, the interior does look a little bit down market. But this car is all about what you can't see. It's about the suspension and the chassis and the roof and the aluminium doors. It's all about that. But that doesn't mean that you are not well catered for. For a start, we've got a 7-inch screen here. This is Toyota's latest system. That includes Apple CarPlay, digital audio radio. Oh, and that's the other thing that I should mention. Oh, that's glorious. Just glorious. It is very noisy in here. These low profile tires, they're just not very good for quietness. But back to the car. That 3-cylinder 1.6 turbo engine is paired to a 6-speed manual. There is no automatic option because basically that would simply ruin this car. Nobody would buy it. As it stands, every one Toyota's bought in, they've sold, and they have orders for more. There was an original allocation that was sold out in seconds. God, this is brilliant on corners. This is really tight stuff. Oh, God, it's fabulous. The all-wheel drive system is just in normal mode. And that's really all you need to have on these very tight corners. Now I'm going up a hill and it's breathing, it's singing to me, saying, give me more. Oh. Now the driver's dials, ooh, that's a bit rough. The driver's dials will tell me what information I need to know. There's a big speedo and a big tacho, and between them, Toyota's usual multifunction screen. Sorry if my breathing's a little bit heavy on the camera, can't help it. What I wanted to show you is what really hard suspension is like. You've seen us on this road before. It's the old highway that led from Sydney to Canberra, and it is absolutely diabolical. It'd be fabulous if it was well paved, but well, this bit is paved, just not well kept. This bit, is not paved at all. And the very low profile tyres and big alloys are not very kind. We've flown down here at the speed limit of 60 before, but there's no way I'm going that fast. I can only assume in the rally version, as in the Bates rally version, that their tyres will be slightly more forgiving than these. Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh. And there's a bit of a rattle up front too, I've noticed. Gosh, it's so bad that my nav man is recording some jolts. It thinks we've had an accident. Well, actually, on this road, it feels a bit like we have had an accident. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Gosh. That was an absolute handful. Now listen to this on this smooth road. Oh. It is glorious. But the thing you have to keep in mind, of course, is that this is very much a horses for courses car. You're not going to buy this if you've got a couple of kids, or your wife or husband's not so fussed on their bits being jiggled about, because they will get jiggled about, believe me. First, a couple of words on the gearbox. It is a beautiful gearbox and a delightfully light clutch. You can't be serious. No. Absolute. We've just stopped for a minute so I can talk about the upholstery. It's an Alcantara-like fabric that is, it's just beautiful. It breathes so well. Though in some of those tight corners, I really feel like I could do with a little more lateral support. Alrighty. I just wanted to do that again. The rev limiter kicked in. This revs to 7,000 RPM. And because it's a 3-cylinder engine, not a 4-cylinder, it's quite difficult to drive by ear, because you always feel like the revs are much lower than what they actually are. Even at 80, I can hear a little bit of wind noise up here in the window, and they're frameless, which means that they're relying on the glass sliding up into a little groove at the top to keep them sealed. And, geez, and it doesn't always do that very well. No frameless cars do. Oh, this is beautiful. Change down a gear. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm going to go down to third, just so I can rock it around this corner in the speed limit. Of course, listen to that little engine singing. So it's doing about 5,000 now. The steering is just delightful. Brakes, lovely and sharp, but progressive just the same. So you don't feel like when you put your foot on them that you're going to slam your face into the windscreen. You probably can't hear it, but I've put the transmission into smart mode. Intelligent mode allows the revs to be matched as you change down. So you don't get jerked in your seat when you're trying to stop at a set of lights. And this follows in the great rally Toyotas of the past, like the Celica GT4. And of course there's so few of these GR Yarises that you've got the other advantage of exclusivity. Now we're at highway speed, doing 110. First thing you notice is the noise. It's really quite noisy. The tyres that were noisy enough before are diabolical. Anyway, I've got the smart cruise control set, but because this is a manual, it doesn't have a Q function, because there's no way for it to move off without you putting the clutch in. But it does have all the other Toyota safety sense niceties, like smart blind spot monitor. So it won't let you change lanes. It'll try and steer you back in again if you make a mistake. There is lane control, and this is an unusual system. If you push and hold the lane control button, it goes off completely. Push it again and the smart lane control comes on, so it won't let you change lanes without indicating. If you press it again, it has lane centering, so I've turned it on. But what I found on the way out to our filming location was that there was a little bit bouncy. It's not quite in the middle of the lane, and it tends to do that a bit, which I find a little bit annoying. So, to wrap up, GR Yaris is an absolute peach. It's reasonably economical. I think it's around 172 grams per kilometre of CO2 as well. It's brilliant in bends. The Toyota all-wheel drive system is sensational, absolutely sensational. The gearbox, smooth, the clutch, lovely and light. The steering is just superb. The sound system is great, not brilliant, but great. And finally, the heads-up display, brilliant. It shows me just the information I want, no more, no less. But there are a few downsides. The interior, as I said, is more of a entry-level interior, and the rear view is more of a post box than anything else. I love this car a lot, and despite what some of my colleagues might say, I think it is a peach. I haven't been hoodwinked. I think this car is genuinely brilliant. But as always, if you've liked the film, leave a comment, hit like, but above all, just there to subscribe.